And just like that, all is right with the world. The Buckeyes didn't play a football game. They didn't just win. They slaughtered Michigan. They did it through the air. They did it on the ground. They did it with defense. They did it every single like Michigan tried their best to cheat. They tried their best to start fights. They tried their best to do anything that they could to make this more of a dogfight because they knew that they were going to get belt to ass. And what happened? It didn't matter. They still got belt to ass. They still got it, and at the end of the day, they knew they were gonna get it, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute, but we are so back, baby.
It feels so good to be a Buckeye fan. They finally got the Michigan monkey off of their back. They finally went to Ann Arbor, took care of business, dotted the damn I, crossed the damn T, won the damn game, and are on to the Big Ten championship. And I, for one, am really excited with this outcome. Like you said, it was belt to ass. There was really nothing Michigan could do against us. I mean, look at Cardinal Tate. His flex is telling you everything. It was a snowball. It was a classic the game moment. It felt wonderful. It was one of those ones. I completely agree with you, Eric.
Yeah, let me be clear about something before we get it further into this game, though. I think what we saw from Michigan and those players is disgusting. And it's little things, like, most people might not have even noticed, but it's the laying on our running back for seconds after he's on the ground and just staying there to try to provoke a reaction. Like, that stuff, the chippy stuff, you expect some chippiness in this game, but maybe they should have prepared a little more on both sides of the ball, especially offense. I thought Bryce Underwood was supposed to be the next coming of Jesus. Didn't he tell LeBron, like, "Watch out, it's over for the next 4 years?"
Yep.
Was he redshirted? Like, does he get 4 more tries? Because I didn't see it. He looked awful.
Yeah, he did look off. Well, awful is a relative term with the weather and whatnot. But when
Awful.
Julian Sayin does what he did as a California kid with no sleeves on, gets his 3 touchdowns, especially turning around after an interception on the first drive
Yeah.
of the game for Ohio State. It just does not matter, man. It was absolutely beautiful. And I teased the picture already, but this was the moment of the game for me when they were showing Brutus Xing out the M, dotting the I, doing the Ohio script. Did you see the video of the Michigan sideline people going out to try to rub it away
Oh,
real
yeah.
quick? That was hilarious. It was awesome. It was everything we have dreamed of for the last 4 years, and Ohio State is finally back on top, and it feels so good.
Brutus is him. I don't know what coach more like, he's an awful coach, let's just be honest. And I don't wanna spend too much time talking about this football program, because it's not Ohio State, and we don't think about that team up north like they think about us. They're little bro, and they've been little bro for a long time. Uh, but it does feel good to finally get this monkey off our back. It took 3 years of cheating, 1 year of some psychological warfare, I'll give them last year, but they did beat us 4 years in a row. The communications issue I wanna talk about for a second. Ohio State, did not have proper communication. They could not speak to the booth. Ryan Day said that this was actually something he anticipated, which I find
I saw that.
interesting,
Very.
with a little smirk. So once again, they're trying to cheat. First of all, NCAA, you need to do something here because if one sideline doesn't have communication, the other sideline should not be able to use theirs. That's typical, but that didn't happen. They didn't drop their headsets. Michigan was still using theirs. So I don't know what's going on there. I think this is the second time this has happened in Ann Arbor. So clearly, I've never heard of it happening in another game. Granted, I don't watch Michigan games, but clearly, once again, they were trying to cheat. Didn't really work. It honestly ran more clock, which probably was to the detriment of that team up north. But I'm so sick of this school, man. So sick of them.
So sick of it indeed, but we don't have to worry about them for another year because we'll be in the college football playoff regardless of what happens in the Big Ten championship. And they will be at home enjoying some minuscule bowl game that we just don't care about. And I'm feeling cocky. I'm feeling full blown Buckeye fan with you today. So I hope that makes you feel a little bit
Finally.
better.
Uh,
I'm gonna let you rip the band-aid off though, Eric, because there's something that I've been waiting for you to talk about since I hit the record button about 5 minutes ago. So why don't you get into it?
Well, one more image that is maybe the coldest image I've seen in this rivalry in quite some time. But to set the scene, obviously we won. Last year was the infamous flag planting at Ohio Stadium. Michigan planted a flag. It started a fight. Jack Sawyer would eventually rip that flag away, et cetera, et cetera. This year, that didn't happen. Ohio State, for the record, did not try to plant a flag, not once. And I've seen videos talking about how they discouraged some players from planting one. I don't even think that's the case because I saw those players with flags, they didn't have poles. Like, I don't think there was ever a plan to try to plant a flag there. Ohio State is off there celebrating, looking down on you. But my favorite part of this, the thing that not enough people are talking about, I've seen some creators say it, but I haven't seen enough. Michigan had a plan to guard the M. And I want to make 2 points here. They had a plan to go guard the M. They said they weren't going to plant a flag on our field. You had a plan to lose? Like, you
Right.
planned this ahead of time, expecting to lose, and we're gonna guard our M? First of all, maybe you shoulda guarded it during the game. But the second point, when they were talking, about that in the presser, it was the running back, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember, but he had a smile on his face as he was saying that. He was smiling saying, "We weren't gonna let that happen." Bro, you just lost to your biggest rival. You
And
just
you're
lost,
worried about a flag plant.
and he's happy that they discouraged that? They clearly they have their priorities. Like, this is insane to me. Makes me happy because the Michigan program's in shambles. I hope Coach Moore continues to coach there. I hope last year's win brings him some invaluable time up in Ann Arbor, where he continues to coach them. But you plan to lose. That is just, you can bet your ass. Say what you will about Ryan Day, who he's the best coach in college football, first of all. I think we can finally admit that. But say what you will about Ryan Day, I can bet your ass he had this team focused and ready for the game. And I guarantee talking about losing or what they would do if they lose never crossed his mind.
Right. And I could do you one better too, that even if, say they didn't have a conversation prior to the game about it, the fact that there was any conversation on the sideline because the game wasn't completely out of reach. I mean, we were talking 2, 3 scores. Like it probably wasn't happening when they took down the comms and all of that. But to the fact that you even let your mind get there as a competitor, as an athlete, is absurd to me. I just cannot even believe that we're smiling on the podium and all of that after you lose to your biggest rival. I mean, I can believe it because it's Michigan. Who cares? I will be a homer when I say that kind of thing because it's Michigan. But man, how pitiful.
Pitiful is a good word for it. There was a lot of good creator content after this game, and maybe there was last year too, but I just kind of tuned out for obvious reasons. But some of my favorites included, there was a guy, he's not even a Michigan fan, he's not a fan of either team, but he compared Ohio State to the Lion King. He said Ohio State is like if Scar kills Mufasa, like what happens in the movie, but Simba never comes home and Scar just continues to rule forever. And I love that analogy because I love the hate. I love that we lean into the Ohio against the world. I love it so much. I love that the rest of the country is rooting for literally anybody but us. Like, I think they would prefer Alabama to win another championship than Ohio State. And we're going to continue to shove thee down your throat for the rest of the season.
That's absolutely awesome. And speaking of the rest of the season, Eric, we have the Big Ten championship matchup this weekend against Indiana. I want to preview it with you a little bit. What are you looking at this game? Because I think we match up decently well against them. Our strengths beat their strengths. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, Saturday at 8 PM. It's basically a home game because it's in Indianapolis, which the Big Ten championship has historically been in for a long time now. Here's what I'm thinking. I go back and forth between being nervous. This is not a game we have to win, by the way. We could probably play the second string, which would really add insult to injury if we won. I don't think we'll do that for the record. I kind of wish we would. Here's what I'm thinking. I think Indiana is a very well coached football team. I think Coach Signetti is a very good football coach. They're disciplined. They beat up on opponents. They drive the score up. We don't do that. We don't play with pace. We don't try to score as often as we can. We try to control games from the onset. The most a team has scored on us this year is 16 points. 16. That's the most that any team in 12 games has scored on us. Frankly, I don't really care what we do on offense because it doesn't matter. The defense is that good. When you line up these two types of teams, the fact that they are a very well coached team and they're going to play well, Mendoza's is going to get his, but their talent level is just inferior. That's just facts. When you line up against Ohio State that has way more five-star recruits, I mean, that's just reality of what Indiana's facing. I go back and forth and I get nervous because Indiana has looked like a very good football game or team. But I do think that we control this game from the outset. I think that we could win it with Keenholz, frankly. Like, I don't even think we need Julian Sayin, who, by the way, just broke the record for completion percentage. Who, by the way, it's his first year starting as a redshirt freshman. Like, I don't know how you could expect anybody to beat Ohio State at this point.
So that's where it kind of starts for me too. So I'm glad you ended with Julian saying this is the Heisman Bowl. Really, is what this
Yeah.
is. It is whoever wins this game and whoever performs well wins the Heisman between him and one Mendoza. To me, I think we match up very well against Indiana just because of the fact that they lean heavily on the RPO. They like to run the ball a lot. That's what they're good at the most is running the football actually. I know Mendoza is a good quarterback, but that's what they rank highest at is running the football game. And our run stuffing game, our run stopping game is elite. It's the best. It's the number fourth ranked run defense in all of college football right now. And I think our matchup there is what's going to stop them from really being able to do anything. You bring up the most points scored being 16 points on this defense. I think Indiana is the best team we've played this season thus far. I still think we're better than that. And then I look on the offensive side of the ball as well. Jeremiah Smith, D'Angelo Pons, two guys from the same high school in Florida. They played each other last year. Pons actually held Jeremiah Smith to just 34 yards. Will that happen again? Or will Jeremiah Smith have a chip on his shoulder to go get him his against a former teammate? I would put my money on the Ohio State Buckeyes 10 times out of 10. I think you would too. I think most of the college football world would as well, because quite frankly, we have done nothing but dominate all year. Are we going to see a stumble, a fumble for the first time in this Buckeye season? I don't think it'll be in the Big Ten championship. Maybe in the college football playoffs. Maybe we hit a stout defense later on that gives us some problems and we show our youth then. But right now, we're on all cylinders. We're the Ohio State Buckeyes, and we are going to be Big Ten champions.
I like the confidence. I don't normally see this side of Noah. I see it misplaced with the Browns, but I never see it with the Buckeyes. Noah, who is the best defensive player in college football?
The best defensive player in college football? That is a very easy question. It's Caleb Downs, baby.
Of course, but there is a name that I think you're going to hear a lot this weekend and a lot in the playoffs, and that name is Arvell Reese. This
Yeah.
kid at linebacker is so good, and whoever I'm gonna put a pencil. I'm sorry, I don't have a number two. I have a mechanical, but I'm gonna play homage right now to our coach and put a pencil in my ear. Uh, Arvell Reese is a name that you're going to hear for a very long time. You're going to hear it not just moving forward in the college football playoff this year, but you're going to hear it in the NFL. I think whoever picks up this young man has a stud linebacker for a long time. If we didn't just draft Sweshinger, I would say we should draft him ourselves. He's like a mix of he's just so good. I don't even wanna draw comparisons. He is one of one. He's arguably the second best, defender in college football. And yeah, you got the other side. You talked about one Jeremiah Smith. Is he gonna have a big game? Jeremiah Smith is 1A to Carnell Tate's 1B. This is a duo that I don't know if we've ever seen 2 together this good. Have we? Maybe last year. Brandon Inniss as a third option. And oh, by the way, Max Clare, who has been getting some really good reps at tight end, he was Purdue's number one receiver last year. He's not as sexy. He's not Jeremiah Smith making one-handed grabs, but he's there and he has hands for a tight end. Like, I don't, oh, by the way, the best freshman running back that this team has seen since Maurice Claret, true freshman, by the way, one Bo Jackson. Like, how do you stop this multi-headed beast?
I don't know. I don't think they have an answer for us. And if they did, they would be favored because they are not favored right now. Ohio State is, of course, getting 4.5 points. Does the spread surprise you? I know it's one versus two, but did you think Ohio State would get a little bit more? The over under is at 48.5. Part of me thinks that the over is going to hit on that as well.
Does the spread surprise me? Yes, a little bit. I think we cover it easily, and I know that's like, yes, I'm a homer, I'm a huge Buckeye fan, but I've been clear since week 2 that this is the best team in the country. Maybe like week 4 because there were some teams looking pretty good there early. Uh, but we are a machine that just marches on. Like, the thing is that we've been there before. Coaching has been there before. And I know that that was a weak spot at one point. We talked about it, right? Coaching in big games, but that's not a weak spot anymore. We have a team that is ready, and we're kind of like the Patriots. Like, imagine you're, I don't know, the Browns, and you're in the playoffs all of a sudden against the Patriots. Is there not a small part of, and these are professionals, but is there not a small part of you that goes, I'm talking prime Patriots, by the way, but that goes, "Whew, there's no way. Like, how do we beat them?" If you don't think these young kids from Indiana are thinking that on even a small level, they're not saying it. It's on the inside because Ohio State is a machine. And I know I get it. When you're an athlete, you think you could beat anybody. But you look at this Ohio State team and you think that is a mountain I have to climb uphill. And they're not wrong.
I was gonna make that exact argument. If you're an athlete, you're on the second best team on college football, then of course you think you can beat Ohio State. But I get what you're saying too. I mean, we are a blue blood, uh, consistent, perennial force in college football,
Champion. Let me
reigning
clarify real
champ.
quick, by the way. Maybe not like from the kickoff, but when they get punched in the mouth, unless they do the punching first, but think of Oregon last year in the playoff. My favorite images were Dan Lanning was so cocky going into that game for some reason. I guess because they beat us in the regular season. And then he didn't get punched in the, I mean, he got donkey kicked in the mouth, and the sideline expression said it all. Like, he didn't know what to do. If that happens to these play, I think Kirk Cignetti will keep his cool. I think he's a very good coach. I don't think the players will. I think we put up 14, 21 nothing, and I don't know if that's gonna happen or not, but I don't know, man. I could see it being a bloodbath quick. I could also see it being a tight game.
I'm really excited for this one. Eric, you made the joke that I'm not normally this excited about Ohio State, but this is right around the time. Not that I don't pay attention to the Buckeyes year in and year out, but I mean, it feels like I'm watching the preseason when it's the regular season. And now that we are at Michigan, the Big Ten championship, the college football playoffs, now it's time to be a little more excitable. You know what I mean? I think that's where I get it. And maybe that makes me sound a little fair weather, and I guess I'll take that title and run with it when it comes to the Buckeyes because I don't think I am. I just think that's the reality of the college football landscape right now, especially with money and what the Buckeyes will spend and what the Buckeyes do in terms of recruiting. But I'm all locked in for this game. I'm ready. I'm excited for Saturday. I'm excited for Sunday, of course, the Browns, because I'm always excited because I am a nut job with that team for some reason. And it is the best time of football for me. Well, kind of. The Browns are normally not doing anything at this point in time, but Shador's playing, so I'm in.
Yeah, listen, for the record, I don't give you crap for not being a fan. I give you crap because you get more excited and watch a complete game between Miami and Houston than you do Ohio State. Like, I get, like, I love the NFL, and if I'm not watching the Buckeyes, I'd rather watch an NFL game than a different college game. Like, I'm not huge on watching other college programs, so I get it to an extent, but it's the Buckeyes, baby. But we're here. It's the time of year you love, and hopefully we just keep marching on. Now, I will say, for every playoff game or all but one playoff game we did get together last year, do you feel any sort of superstition that we should recreate that?
Well, I was going to ask you off air what you were doing on Saturday, but we'll talk. Yes, I am always down to watch football and hang out with you, buddy. Especially now that you aren't like my next door neighbor, you're a little further out. So anytime you are willing, ready, and able to come my way or invite me your way, I'm always there for it. And if it's for the Buckeyes, it's for the playoffs, it's for the good karma. I'm always there, man.
Well, we will be there or somewhere at least watching, hopefully a win. We'll talk about it a little bit next week. By the way, our playoff pick'em shows are going to be back. So we're going to talk. Obviously, in week one, we're going to assume here that Ohio State has the bye, win or lose against Indiana. So we'll talk the matchups briefly, but then who we prefer to see Ohio State play, who they'll likely be playing, and then pick who we think will win week one. And we'll keep doing that each week, at least as far as the Ohio State advances. If we get knocked out like in round two, I'm not sure I want to continue doing pick'em shows, but we'll talk about that when it comes.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But I'm feeling confident about our Buckeyes and our ability to continue what was a fun tradition that we started last year when we weren't doing daily episodes, and continue it in one of our daily slots here now that we are doing daily episodes with some of our new subscribers here as well. So I appreciate everybody coming in and tuning in and watching everything we have to offer.
I will say I'm a little sad in that football season's almost over. We're getting to that point of the year, but we just need to soak it in as much as we can
That we
while
do.
we can. On that note, the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.